Hey everyone, welcome to Big Flick Energy. So, since I started this channel, one of the biggest things I wanted to be was original. All of my theories, I hope to be things that you haven't heard somewhere else. I also hope that if you have heard it somewhere else, hopefully mine has a new twist on it. Like if it's for a connected universe, I would hope that maybe my thing is slightly different from theirs. And that's something that I've really wanted to do with this channel. I don't want to just be a rehash of what other channels like the Film Theorists or something like that are doing. And pretty recently I started to notice after the Eternals came out that the same theory kept on popping up from every channel of Thanos was right. Thanos was right. He snapped so that he would stop the Celestials. And it just feels very unoriginal. And I also don't think it's true. I've done my research on this one, and honestly, I think every single YouTuber that said that is wrong. And here's why. So I think a good starting point is why all these YouTubers are saying that Thanos was right and this was his plan. So basically, the Celestials, they need planets to have a certain amount of life in each of them so that then the emergence can happen, where basically a new Celestial is born from the core of the planet. And Thanos, snapping away half of all life in the universe, would obviously slow down this plan. And that makes sense. Now, something else that they were saying was that if you look at Thanos' planet, Titan, in Infinity War, they mentioned how the gravity was completely off balance, and it was something that they had never seen before, which would make sense if the core of the planet is literally destroyed. And it looked like that could have been what happened. Also, Thanos was saying how his planet was destroyed because they did not listen to him when he offers a solution for the overpopulation in the planet. And overpopulation is what brings the emergence for a new Celestial. Another thing is with Eros showing up at the end of Eternals, who is Thanos' brother. That's literally just the icing on the cake to show the connection for everything. So this obviously makes a lot of sense, but I don't think it's true. I think it's a ton of BS. Because if Thanos had all the stones, why would he not just kill the Celestials if they were the problem? So I know you're thinking he wouldn't be able to do that because the Celestials are way too powerful, but in reality, in the show What If, which is actually confirmed to be part of the MCU, Thanos lost the stones to Ultron, and Ultron actually was able to kill Ego, who was the villain of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and in that film, literally said he was a Celestial. So the stones can officially kill a Celestial then. So Thanos would have been able to. And obviously he has a connection to the Celestial since he is an Eternal, because Eros is an Eternal and he said he's his brother. So if he wanted to kill the Celestials, he could have. Now, what about his plan? If Thanos wanted to stop the Celestials, he could have been using the power he gained to kill them off. And while it would have been a slow process, and snapping is faster to kill off half the population instead of killing off the Celestials, we have to remember how many Celestials there are. Thanos still gave up the power of the stones literally right after snapping. So look, we have to realize Thanos' plan was a temporary solution. Destroying half of the population is not going to be a long-term solution because you're literally just going to have people give birth again and the populations are going to grow again. And this is more a problem with Thanos' plan in the first place than with the Celestials. But if he did want to stop the Celestials with this plan, it's very much a temporary solution and the Celestials will be back in business in a couple hundred years. Now, we also have to look at what the Celestials' plan was with the emergence. They wanted to destroy planets to create Celestials, and these Celestials could create even more planets. So it's like a constant expansion of planets which will cause prosperity throughout the entire universe. What did Thanos want? He wanted to destroy life, which would give life to others where they could live a more prosperous life. It's literally the same thing if you think about it like that. And while it may be different where Thanos wanted to cut everything in half and the Celestials wanted to double everything, a lot of people forget what happened to Thanos in Endgame, where he wasn't the same Thanos where he wanted to just cut everything in half for the rest to live a better life. Instead, he wanted to kill everybody and just recreate life in a new image that didn't know what it lost for their creation and for them to prosper. And this is literally what the Celestials do. They destroy to create more. And the ones that are created have no idea what was lost for their creation. And that's exactly what Thanos is proposing at this point. Just using the stones and recreating everything instead. I actually do agree that Titan was probably destroyed by the Celestials. And honestly, that Thanos collecting the stones probably had to deal with the Celestials destroying Titan. But I disagree that it's to actually go against the Celestials. Matter of fact, I think the Celestials are using Thanos, or were using Thanos, to see if there's another solution that doesn't involve the destruction of life to the same extent. So, if Thanos was actually going against the actions of the Celestials, Arishem, the judge, who is the main Celestial in the film, probably would have done the same thing that he did to Cersei at the end of the Eternals as he would have done to Thanos, where he sees that Thanos wasn't on the same side, so he literally goes to judge Thanos in the same way that we suppose he's going to do to Cersei. Something that Thanos told us was that he tried saving Titan, but failed because nobody listened, and he didn't forcefully take action, so he believed that he ignored his destiny once before. So, maybe he tried to save the planet in a similar way that Cersei did. Obviously not the same abilities because he doesn't have those abilities, but it resulted in Arishem bringing Thanos up, and instead of just killing Thanos, as we know he didn't kill Cersei either, he was going to hear him out because he's a judge. And perhaps in this discussion, Thanos told Arishem how he believes there's another way the Celestials could continue moving along with their plan, and that he was going to show them. So perhaps the Celestials let Thanos roam freely throughout the galaxy to actually act out on his plan. See, this makes a lot of sense once you realize that Thanos is actually an Eternal with a deviant gene in the comics. So honestly, the Celestials easily could have told the Eternals, go and stop him, because he is a deviant, but they chose not to. Instead, they told the Eternals, do not interfere with Thanos. If they really wanted to stop him because they knew everything that he was doing, let's be honest, the Celestials are knowing about everything that's happening in the galaxy, everything in the universe, and they knew that he was collecting the stones probably to do something like this. So if they really knew everything that was going on, you'd assume they would want to stop him, unless if they were actually working together, and he was actually just a project for them to see what could be done instead of their actual plan. Especially since Arishem seems like he could be a reasonable figure. If there is another solution, I'm sure they would want to take it. One where they simultaneously leave some of the life that they had created before alive, while also allowing for new life to be born. And this would make sense with Thanos' plan. However, since Thanos failed, and I find it pretty interesting how his second plan of just destroying everybody and recreating all life is much more similar to the Celestials' original plan, kind of showing that there is only one solution to the Celestials' plan. So I think it's very interesting to analyze this and see maybe Thanos wasn't trying to stop what the Celestials were doing. Maybe he was actually working with them to create a new solution, which I think would actually make a lot more sense in this scenario. So I think all of these YouTubers are wrong. And while I think they got some pieces of it right, like Titan being destroyed by a Celestial, I do think that Thanos has another purpose, or at least had another purpose, and he failed his mission. Let me know what you guys think down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time on Big Flick Energy.